Oh God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Alleluia. Behold a voice resounding clear, rebuking hidden. Today is December 6, 2025. And I have a very special reflection today. I started off thinking that I might reflect on a very spiritual book called The Cloud of Unknowing, because it chronicles a very special calling that God has for some souls to pursue a direct love relationship with God. It's a mystical calling. It's also can be a contemplative or monastic calling. And some souls are called in such ways in in the spiritual economy of God. I believe I am such a soul. But I've touched upon that a bit in a previous reflection when I shared the love of God poem, which chronicles my trajectory in that way. But so praying a little bit more this morning, I realized that I should do a reflection that really is conveying the grace of God by really addressing what is affecting most people, what is likely affecting, or for sure is affecting you in your life right now, and how this whole contemplation of my fight against cancer is an analogy of the fight that you're fighting right now for sure, and how we can inform that fight. So the title of today's reflection is called Fighting Cancer, Fighting Cain. Cain, C-A-I-N, refers to the character in the Old Testament of the Bible, Cain and Abel, the two brothers, who offered gifts, sacrifices to God. And Cain discovered that God preferred the gifts of Abel, his brother, and Cain became jealous, and Cain ultimately killed his brother Abel, the first murder in the Bible. So, what I am going to propose and share today is that we all inherit the world of Cain. The world we live in right now, the nature of our human relationship to one another is conditioned by that first murder. It is spiritually characterized by that attitude of, quote, am I my brother's keeper? That fundamental spiritual attitude is what dictates human relationships socially today. Not all individuals, of course, but a great number of us have that fundamental passion. Am I my brother's keeper? You can call it the passion of Cain, but for the sake of making an analogy to cancer, we can call it the disease of Cain. So we human beings are suffering today from physical disease such as cancer, but also largely from the social disease, the spiritual social disease of Cain, the attitude, the fundamental attitude. When after Cain murdered Abel, God asked, "Where is your brother?" And Cain said, "Am I my brother's keeper? Am I responsible for being his babysitter?" You know. So that is the fundamental source of all our human injustices to one another. And it is analogous to the disease of cancer. Let's call it the spiritual disease of Cain. And we are all suffering under that right now. I mean, coming from America, in America, we are seeing the absolute travesty of the fact that the wealthy are getting wealthier and the poor are becoming squeezed even more into homelessness. The middle class is shrinking. You are probably striving to support um, your next mortgage, your next rent. Many people are becoming homeless because of the polarization of wealth that's happening. And all of it is fundamentally based in that passion. Those who have the resources in our society, they have the passion, the disease of Cain. Am I my brother's keeper? Am I supposed to give these losers cheap rent? If I can charge $1,200 for a studio bedroom apartment, am I going to give these losers that same apartment for $300 because they can do no better than to work for at McDonald's? That's the kind of an example of the attitude that we're the disease that we're dealing with spiritually. And just as we struggle through the pain of cancer, the fallout, we also struggle through the pain of the disease of Cain, or inhumanity to one another. So, as we struggle and identify that we're all in the same boat, fighting the disease of cancer, fighting physical diseases, we can also appreciate that we're in the same struggle against the worst parts in our own natures, within ourselves. So, my contemplation then is, what is the cure? How can we approach healing? What kind of attitude can we adopt? How can we re-identify, recreate a healing community that tackles head on this disease, this disease of Cain within our spiritual natures. In a previous reflection, I identified what I call the seal of creation, the fingerprint of God, and that is service, self service. There was an instant in the New Testament when there were two disciple brothers who were, I believe, competing, asking who should be on the right hand of Christ in the glorious kingdom. And Christ said, the greatest in the kingdom of heaven is the person who serves the most. And then Christ set the example of washing the feet of the disciples. Because Christ illustrated the fingerprint of God, of service. So if we are to create a healing community, as I participate in the cancer community that seek to support and heal one another, as I benefit from all these various efforts and as I share my struggles with you and one another, we can also create a spiritually healing community against the disease of Cain. In another reflection, I offered the idea that God created human beings to be like the cells of the body. The cells exist in community, in unity, in unison. For one cell to be healthy, all the other cells must be working in unison, serving, self-serving. So this is how the seal of God's creation is seen in the body. Semi-autonomous life form cells. As we human beings, individuals are semi-autonomous, but we depend upon the community of human beings doing, serving, in order for us to exist healthily, to exist. So the attitude that an individual cell should adopt is the attitude of service, doing its proper serving role. And then it is healthy and fulfilled. It finds fulfillment in its proper role, in its proper service. So I just will make a call to us to contemplate this morning that as we suffer an unhealthy human body due to the disease of Cain, cancer, the cancer of as the body might suffer from cancer, as the cell might suffer from cancer, and as we suffer the social disease, the social spiritual disease of Cain, that just as the cell could readopt a service attitude to the body, let us adopt a service attitude to our fellow human beings to counteract, to counter, to nullify the disease of Cain. Let us identify ourselves as children of God who bear the seal of God, of service. So please take the opportunity today to look about you, in your family, in your society, among your acquaintances, among the people you may encounter on the street. I have a bad tendency sometimes to be so wrapped up in my own mind that I might neglect the little niceties, the little how are you, the smile, the of acquaintances, of everyday acquaintances. Let's be mindful to adopt the healing attitude as children of God, bearing the seal of God of service, to undo the disease of Cain that we're all suffering under right now. I'm not calling for social revolution, activism. No. I call for sincerity. You take up the gauntlet in the purview of your life, the transformation. So, fighting cancer, fighting Cain. A new day begins, a new week begins. May God be with us. Amen.